Brooklyn, and welcome to another episode of Belisha Inc. Presents. I'm your guest host, Linda Peterson, and I am very honored to be a part of this show today. Now, if you don't already know, Belisha Inc. Presents is a show that introduces various artists of all genres: music, theater, visionary, literature, culinary, and in this episode, film. Belisha and Kingdom Life Productions will be introducing the cast of the highly anticipated short film, Desperation, which will be coming out in January 2009 at a film festival near you. Now, we were just viewing the film for the first time, and we have a lot to talk about. But first, let's introduce the creator behind the creation. I don't know where to start with this young woman because she's all over the place. You should check out her website after the show, of course, to get to know a little bit more about her. She's a director, a writer, a producer, an editor, an actress, graphic designer. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if she can part the Red Sea. She can do it all. Here is Billy Martin.
Yay!
Along with Billy are her cast of the film Desperation. Here's Sandy Kim, who plays Gabby, Jonas Garberg, who plays Nick, and SAUDIA Cunningham, who plays the lovely Yvonne. Now, Billy, I would like to start off with you first because this is your baby. This is your creation. Mm-hmm. The one thing that everyone is going to want to know is this a personal story?
No. No, this is not a personal story.
Well, what was the impetus then? What prompted you to want to write this kind of story? Because it's really intense.
I just wanted to tell a story. And I wanted to tell a story that was least expected of me. And so I just chose a script of many that I have. And Desperation just happened to be the lucky number to start off with. I didn't want to do a feature. I didn't want to do an animation.
Okay.
And I didn't want to do a gangster woo-hoo kind of movie. So I just wanted something to the point that I can show my capabilities with the resources that I have. And Desperation got the lucky pick. So
I think it's definitely going to speak to a lot of different people who maybe have experienced this or know someone who has experienced this type of situation. But the cast, you guys are just absolutely amazing. And obviously, I think in this whole process, you guys have really gelled and become friends in the process. Yes. But when you were casting this, what was your thought process behind it? What were you looking for, and how did you finally arrive at this particular group?
Well, actually, it started around around Yvonne.
Okay.
Yvonne was the character that I related to the most, and I wanted the story to be told to, I guess, not to benefit her, but to be told through her eyes, you know, and how she saw without her actually seeing the whole story herself. So when I cast Nick and Gabby, I did not see of Yvonne. I saw of others. You know, I didn't want it to be just a story that Yvonne saw as a African American woman. I wanted her to be just telling a story.
Okay.
So I wanted the multicultural cast to just let that story be told, not as a white story or a black story or, you know, yellow or green story, but just as a story. So that's why the casting part was very important for me.
Okay, and I think that actually comes through, and I think all of you guys definitely show that. I think all of us that were watching the film, no one thought it was black, white, anything. It was just a story being told. So you definitely have succeeded in that, so it really works.
Thank you.
But the process itself, I think, is really interesting. I know when you were writing it, you're like, I'm finishing this script. I think for new producers or people who are out there, writers, producers, actors, how long was the actual process from concept to completion? How long did it take you?
Well, well, the script was actually the shortest time, you know, because that's just me, the computer, and all the time in the world. So that was the easy part, and re-editing and rewriting and so on and so forth. So that was the easy part. But actually, you know, getting those little blue and white ink into reality, you know, it was time consuming, not just, you know, with time, but with energy and finances. So it was a lengthy process. We started in June, the end of June. Okay. And we actually finished September. What's
Yeah,
the
I
last
think it was
shooting date?
September.
Was September. So it was the whole summer, but it was on weekends, you know, when everyone had available time. So
And
it was
didn't you
lengthy.
have issues also because,
Yes.
I mean, people don't think about these things, but there are so many different variables that you have to look at when you're filming, and if you're filming outside. Weather,
Was a big issue.
a big issue
Was
for
a
you.
huge
Now, how
issue.
long did you have to wait for it to
4
rain?
weeks. 4 weeks. Yup. 4 weeks. I had to wait for old natural because my budget was this low, and you know, and I didn't have the millions to make it rain and make it snow in one day. So I had to, you know, depend on Mother Nature to do her thing, and Mother Nature's on her own time, and I had to respect that. So
Now, how did you guys were comfortable waiting that long? I mean, because everybody's always working on different projects, right? So you were in wait mode, but you don't really see that. It's very
No.
seamless. It is. It's
Yeah.
very seamless. You don't
Right.
get the sense that there was a gap of waiting for something to happen.
It was like what each shooting day was 4 or 5 days, you know, jump. So because we only shot on the weekends, so it was lengthy. it was something that could have been done in a week, but with Mother Nature and budget and you know other projects, we took the whole summer practically. But it was fun. It was a journey.
Well, I think I do have some questions that I'd like to ask our special cast here. But first, I think what we want to do is actually look at some of the clips. And this first clip we'll look at is of Gabby being played by Sandy Kim.
Let me tell you about love, because you know nothing about it. Love is when you make sacrifice after sacrifice. Love is when you turn your whole world around just to keep your man. Love is when you don't even know who you are anymore because you're too busy being perfect for him.
That's not love, Gab.
Oh, yeah? Then what is it? Huh?
Desperation.
What did you say to me?
Oh, boy. Okay, Sandy, there is a lot going on there. There really is. And I mean, the intensity that you were playing that role at that moment, how did you feel?
Well, I think I have to say that it goes back to the writing. From the time that I auditioned and I first read the script, the words just spoke to me. So I think all I really had to do was know my character and understand Gabby, and then everything else came naturally. And I think most women and men, if you have ever in your life been in love again, you can relate to that feeling or that moment of jealousy. You may not want to admit it, it's not pretty, but I think most of us have experienced that at some point in our lives. So it's just
Or
a matter
know
of
someone who
drawing.
has.
Absolutely.
So
And Jonas, you were deer caught in the headlights.
I was, definitely.
You were really reacting to her. Tell me what you were feeling at that moment, at that time.
Well, it's easy with Sandy because this started just the first day we met. She was already very much into the character, and she came up to me and just started like, you know, joking, being the character and being extra so-called crazy, or you know, and just to loosen up, and it really worked because I reacted to that and I find it really funny, but then we just kept on kind of doing that all the time, and it became very organic and
natural.
really in a sense, yeah.
Yeah, because I think your reactions, you know, just of shock and
Right.
surprise and, you know, what's going on, were heartfelt.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, I know the audience, we were all leaning forward on what's going on. And I caught a couple of people look in your direction. Like, you know, is there some truth behind this? So I think it's interesting because you're right, it is writing. It is writing. But the both of you definitely encapsulated a moment that many of us have experienced. Is it personal? You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's the question I think that true acting shows. You know, and I think you guys definitely hit the mark with that. Now, Nick, played by Jonas GARBERG, is a man stuck between a rock and a hard place. Let's take a look.